7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes on.
What's going on, guys? Welcome into Clutch B-Ball TV. I hope you guys are doing well as the New York Knicks do go on to fall to the Los Angeles Clippers. Don't let this score fool you. The Knicks were actually battling this entire basketball game, but we also have to realize the expectations were, at least realistic Knicks fans, the expectations they came into this game with of just want to see competitive basketball. We're not expecting to beat the second-ranked team in the West, second seed in the West, number one, shooting threes from downtown. The Knicks are just the complete opposite. They're a grinded-out basketball team. I believe they're like in the bottom of the barrel when it comes to shooting the ball. They're a team that's going to play hard on defense. They're going to kill you inside with guys like Julius Randle, you know? So I was like, we're not going to be able to match their intensity when it comes to making three-point shots. We're going to have to bring our own identity and actually kind of somewhat keep them in check from downtown. We're not expecting to shut down a Kawhi Leonard. We're not expecting to shut down a guy like Paul George or keep Serge Ibaka away from these positions on the defense side of the basketball, because we know how much he dominates with his length and his ability to stretch the floor as well. And a guy like Lou Williams coming off the bench, they're a deep basketball team. Of course, they were missing Nicholas Batum in this basketball game. And you had a guy, of course, of a Patterson who made his very first start, and he killed us from downtown, at least in the first half. I was like, out of all guys, it's always these random guys. Even though Patterson's been a solid guy in his NBA career, he definitely did kill us from downtown in this game. But I was like, yep, second seed when it comes to the Western Conference, number one when it comes to making threes. We're in the bottom of the barrel. We're going to have to grind out this basketball game. And that's going to be very hard up against some of the best players in the NBA, of a Kawhi Leonard, a Paul George. We're not going to be able to shut them down, but we're going to have to keep them in check. And we actually started off very well. We matched their intensity when it came to the offense side of the basketball. Not much defense being played. Both of these teams were shooting like 50% from the field at the beginning of this game. But the Knicks actually did do a good job taking care of the basketball. They had like one turnover, I believe, in the first quarter, and like adding in a couple minutes of the second quarter, I believe the only turnover was like a cross-court pass by RJ Barrett. He has like a couple of those a game that he definitely is going to have to fix in his game, or go back and watch some tape, not force the issue. Could have made a better, smarter pass in that situation. I'm not going to say he was going to be able to shoot the ball there, but sometimes you got to take a breather. He just played too fast in that situation. You got to slow down the tempo for sure. But Kawhi Leonard's someone we weren't going to be able to shut down. If we're being real, there is no elite defensive player on this team to shut down a guy like Kawhi Leonard. Then you have a guy of Paul George, and you have a guy Lou Williams coming off the bench. It's really hard to compete with this team. But I was surprised. The Clippers were playing throughout our strengths. Like, they weren't playing that fast, in my opinion, at least at the beginning of this game. And even like when they did have the lead, they weren't like trying to take away our strengths. Our strengths is playing slow and trying to grind out games and get like the opposing teams to play defense so we could tire them out and dominate them down low and get timely buckets. But the Clippers were playing a slow pace of game, but you could say they started to play faster towards the end. But getting into the first quarter, you had a guy like Elfrid Payton, didn't do much, maybe had a couple nice passes, played solid defense. You know what Elfrid Payton brings to the table. And I was like, okay, we're going to start off slow, but we actually did a solid job getting timely buckets and scoring the basketball. RJ Barrett had a good game. He was attacking the basket, starting to add that mid-range shot to his arsenal, which I love. He didn't have any like free throws when he scored those 8 points for the Knicks in the first quarter. Of course, they let him get a breather, but I thought RJ played very well. He actually played solid defense on Kawhi. I'm not going to say he played good or great, but for a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who has so many moves in his arsenal, he's a killer in the post. He can blow by you. He can muscle you down. He's going to get you tired. He's going to piss you off. And I'm sure RJ was, but he did a really good job containing himself. And he actually did a solid job really defending those fadeaway jumpers. Eventually, the best players hit shots when they matter most, and that's definitely what Kawhi Leonard did towards the end of this basketball game. But I thought RJ Barrett had a good game. And then you take a look at a guy like Mitchell Robinson, who actually pissed me off all game, in my opinion. Mitchell Robinson is a very good athlete. He is a talented player when it comes to like being fast and somewhat being able to guard the perimeter. But that's something that's definitely faded off in his NBA career. First couple of years, he's been good at guarding the three-point line. But this man is not very coordinated on his feet. He gets caught off balance. That's definitely something he's going to have to work on if he wants to be the starter for the Knicks one day. But, like, long term, Ibaka, like, there's like 5 seconds winding down on the shot clock. Mitch was not very aware, and he hesitates to guard the shots on the perimeter. Like, you know he's going to shoot it, defend it. I don't get it. Does he not read the scouting report? Is he not looking at the film properly? What is Tibbs coaching this dude? Because everyone else knows when to guard the three-point shot, but Mitch. Like, Mitch, I thought, didn't have the greatest of game. I really was not happy with it. You could say he cleaned up a shot. He was like kind of active where he was active, like where to be on the basketball floor inside on the offense side, but he's not aware on the defense side of the basketball where to be inside in the paint. Like, we could be having a great defensive possession and then like inside, bang, easy layup just right away for a guy like Serge Ibaka. And Serge Ibaka is a tough player. I'm not saying he's like easy to guard or anything. He can shoot the shot from the outside, he can stretch the floor and dominate inside, and they call him Serge Ibaka for a reason, like his long wingspan, his ability to play defense. Yeah, Paul George, I actually thought we did a solid job keeping him in check, for sure, even though, like I said, the best players hit timely buckets. Of course, no Batum. Patterson was killing us from downtown in this basketball game. And, yeah, the first couple quarters, I thought we did a solid job. Of course, the Clippers ended up taking the lead back. When it came to the second quarter, we were up 7. At one point, Kawhi Leonard started doing his thing. Lou Williams brought a spark to this basketball game off the bench. But you take a look at, like, this Knicks team as a whole. Like, there's no big-time superstar. There's no all-star. Julius Randle potentially going to be an all-star. Like, I'm not that big on all-star teams. I really don't care. It's good for the players, though. They get the recognition, and they get a format of they get an award because they're like, you played good this season. You deserve to be on the all-star team. But Randle really does deserve to be an all-star. He's all-star level numbers. He's not putting up empty stats on a bad team. He's contributing to wins. He's a reason we're winning games. He's the reason we're competitive. Randle's hit timely buckets. He's been playing good basketball. He's matured his game. He's keeping his head up. This is all something we would have never thought. We never thought this would happen. RJ, I'm not going to say he's an all-star at all. He's a lot to work on. But RJ, I thought, had a solid game. But you had a guy of Taj Gibson who actually came off the bench because of a Noel injury. Noel did not play in this basketball game. Taj got so many minutes off the bench. Did he even score? Did he score? I don't even think he scored in this game. You could say he did little things like veteran leadership and just like telling guys where to be on the basketball floor. He's better with court awareness, but when it comes to talent, or at this point in their NBA career, Mitchell Robinson is better, and Taj played power forward most of his career. But because we're missing depth when it comes to the center position, he definitely had to play that. But getting to the bench, like it looked like this game was over. It looked like this team was going to lay down and die. But then I was like, hold up, this isn't a Fizdale team anymore. Like, when we're starting to go down double digits, like Fizdale's team would have folded down and just absolutely died. But then Emmanuel Quickley came into this game. You had guys like Austin Rivers. You had guys like Obi Toppin who didn't do much. He has a lot of work to do, and he's 22 years old, so it's definitely concerning. You guys see why I didn't want him on this basketball team. Alec Burks, even though he's a streaky player as well. He's going to have good games. He's going to have bad games. But he did hit some timely buckets in this game for sure. Austin Rivers really frustrates me. I think he only plays because of the leadership he brings and how hard he plays. Because he's only good with the ball in his hands. He can't play off the ball. You might see a nice cut without the basketball. He might hit some timely buckets. But he's an extremely inconsistent player. But I like that we added him because he brings a culture to New York that he's like definitely a fans guy. Like, don't worry, this team's competing every night, which could be a good thing and bad thing, because if we start losing, people are going to be like, oh, Rivers, like I thought this team was going to start winning and all this. I thought we're moving in the right direction. You know how New York sports fans are. But yeah, Obi Toppin has a lot of work to do. When it comes to boxing out, same thing with Mitchell Robinson. Of course, Obi Toppin's undersized for his position, has a lot of work to do when it comes to mechanics. That's why I didn't want him, because like when you're 22 years old and you don't have any, like, you're not coming into the NBA with a skill that's going to translate, it's definitely very frustrating. But anyway, let's get into some positives here. Of course, Julius Randle played amazing, like I said, RJ Barrett. But you had a guy of Emmanuel freaking Quickley who came into this game and balled the frick out. This man was absolutely unbelievable. Comes in, floater, dish, timely bucket. And then this man, just like down the stretch in this game when he thought it was over, Quickley came in and took over. Of course, we did lose, so technically ended up being over. Quickley put this team on his back again, just like the Trailblazers game, just like past games. He comes in, deep three. He was hitting Curry range threes. This man plays with so much confidence. Does need to get better guarding the pick and roll and communicating on those. But he showed how the element he brings of like less zone defense, spreading the floor, making the right plays, initiating contact, hitting free throws. He has to start. But they might look at him as a Lou Williams, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yes, pain sucks. but we're competitive right now, so we're going to keep things the way it is. I really don't think Quickley will start until maybe if it gets to that point that this team's like 10 games under 500. But Quickley was absolutely unbelievable. The confidence he plays with, the killer. Of course, he models his game after Lou Williams and CJ McCollum, so he had a really nice moment with Lou Williams. I'm sure he got his respect. But yeah, Rivers, we know what Rivers is. He's going to play hard, not smart all the time. Toppin has a lot of work to do. He's really frustrating to watch. Emmanuel Quickley, Alec Burks, Taj Gibson. Just interesting game by the New York Knicks. The Clippers, though, good game to Clippers fans. You guys played overall a better basketball game, and that's a part of this young team. They're going to have to learn how to figure out how to play all 48 minutes of the game. That's the whole point of basketball. You got to play a good, solid, fundamental 48 minutes of basketball. You're not going to just like play a good first half and win games. You got to be able to play all 4 quarters, and that's what the Clippers did. They finished strong. Kawhi hit some big shots at Baca. But Mitch has to be better. He has to be more aware guarding the perimeter. Let me know down below your thoughts. Are you mad at this loss? I'm personally not. This team freaking fought. The young guys played well. I'm not happy. I'm not going to say I'm happy, but you got to be pleased with how Quickley played. And I know guys that hate Payne like me. When Payne sucks and then Quickley's thriving, got to be happy with that because there's a higher chance he may go to that starting lineup. But we'll see what happens. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, you.